Okay, hi Jiabin. So another set of essays, wonderful. Let's take a look at what you wrote here. This is about taking your family on trips abroad. So let's see what you wrote. It is increasingly common that professionals travel overseas is always plural, with their family when the trip is for a work purpose. We usually just use work purpose in the plural, so it should be when the trip is for work purposes. All right, it's just usually like a set expression like that. Personally, I believe it is, there's an easier, I don't want to say easier, there's a cleaner way of saying this. Let's try it. Personally, I believe it is unprofessional and am firmly against this trend. This essay will discuss this issue using examples from Oxford University and WhatsApp to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay? Firstly, there is ample evidence that one's productivity could be negatively influenced if he or she goes on a business trip with a family's accompaniment. All right, you know that you could have just said goes on a business trip with family, and it becomes a lot cleaner, easier to read. I understand that you're trying to show that you've got vocabulary, but one of the things about vocabulary is knowing when to use it. And it's a general rule of thumb that if something can be said in fewer words and in a cleaner fashion, then we prefer that to something that is more complex, okay? So, this is largely because people can easily get distracted by their family amid business travel. Get rid of the A. Not on the contrary. Again, that's a wrong expression. This should be in contrast. They could spend more time on relevant issues if they travel without them. For example, recent empirical research by Oxford University shows that no comma is necessary. 60% of employees find it stressful, without the is, to balance the responsibilities of getting prepared for business conferences and looking after family members when they travel with them. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that it is a negative trend in terms of professional performance. Okay? Fine. Secondly, although some argue that it is valuable to have family support when people are challenged by unfamiliar environments and complicated missions, I strongly believe that people can still access their support virtually. Get rid of to. This is due to the fact that the advent of the information and communication technology enables one to stay connected with their loved ones at any time, anywhere, comma after any time, no in. For instance, by using WhatsApp, people can talk with their family face-to-face whenever they want to. Thus, they can feel less lonely and being supported even when they are thousands of miles away from their home. Consequently, it is possible to state beyond doubt that traveling without family will not undermine people's accessibility to support. Okay? To conclude, from the arguments and examples given, I strongly believe that professionals should avoid traveling abroad with family, again, when it is work-related. Okay? Fine. As far as having convincing arguments, task achievement, I thought you did a nice job. You basically said that you thought it was a negative development. You said that it could be a hindrance for the person working. And then you told us here that, you know what, you don't need them there with you to support you because you can have access to them through all the technology we have. So I thought it was good. I saw that you had problems with vocabulary. There were multiple areas, and we talked about them, where you could have used more appropriate, more precise vocabulary, and it would have helped with this essay a little bit more. But in general, I thought you did a nice job. Good organization. It was a strong essay. Like I said, the weakness for me was in that vocabulary, okay? So let's take a look now at your task 1 with the rainfall. All right, let's see. It's not called a line chart. It's called a line graph. We call them bar charts, pie charts, and line graphs. So the line graph demonstrates 3 nations' rainfall distributions in the year 2018. In the given year, England's rainfall stayed between 75 and 125 ml from month to month. Okay. It peaked in December at slightly over 125, followed by mid-June and September with 125 for each of them. However, late May had the least amount of rainfall of the year. The figure was 1.5 times less than that of December. Okay. The case for Scotland and Wales was different. In Scotland, the amount of rainfall dropped by 100 from January to February. Then the number increased significantly and peaked at 130 in March, followed by another sharp decline to 30 in April. After that, the level gradually climbed back to 130 in mid-September. In November, the rainfall fell to approximately 50 and bounced to twice as much as that at the end of the year. In Wales, there was also a large-scale fluctuation between 125 and 20 from January to August in terms of rainfall. The figure stabilized, careful, at nearly 50 ml for the next 3 months with an S. From October, the number rose, R-O-S-E, by 2 times. In November, dropped back to around 50 1 month later. Overall, the rainfall varied significantly across the months in all 3 countries. Careful there. Okay, let me tell you something you did here that I really liked. You did a great job of picking the appropriate information. You didn't give me too much information. You didn't give me too little information. I'd say you did a really rather good job selecting the right information. I can't do a word count here because, okay, no big deal. So you did a great job. If you had asked me what the important points are, remember, this is a story, okay? You've got a year. You've got the year 2018 from January to December. So it's essentially telling you the story of rain in these areas. When you hear a story, what information do you want? You want the beginning, you want the end, of course, and you also want some of those key features in the middle. So basically, let's take a look at, say, for example, Scotland. For Scotland, you would want 1.2, 3, 4, because Scotland had 2 peaks. Okay, and then you want this here in December, and that's it. So really 5 pieces of information. In fact, if you look at the whole thing, each country needs about 5 pieces of information to be discussed, and then the rest you can discard. You have 36 pieces of information, so even writing about 15 is plenty. But it can be done. It can be done well. You did a good job of that. You didn't really mention January for at least a couple of months. It didn't really bother me. I didn't mind it because I thought you picked a lot of the important information anyway. I thought there was maybe one spot where I thought you didn't need to talk about something, but that was such a minor detail that I'm not even going to look into where it was. Like I said, I thought you did a good job. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you about this? Yeah, so I was pretty happy with this. I think that you did a good job with this. So there's not really much else I want to tell you. You used good vocabulary except for once or twice, like here it was stabilized instead of stable, it was rose instead of raised. But other than that, I thought you did a nice job, okay? So I want you to go ahead and correct these, return them back to us, and send us another set of essays, okay? Good luck with them.